Sunset Hills that we did with the New York group that really Nick put together. Huge deal, I think about $100 million deal. And we had it, let me see, the partners in the deal all came in from New York and met with us in our boardroom, rather. And they said, well, it's something that, to the point that they were interested. And just as they were about to leave, they all get up from their chairs and they're going out to go look at the development. And I said to them, wait a minute, gentlemen, I want you to sit down one more minute. And they did. And they said, sure, what is it? I said, I just want to leave you with one thought. I said, if we had the money, you wouldn't be here talking to us right now. We would be doing it. And they looked at me, and particularly the leader of the group, said, yeah, you're probably right. They said, and if we had the brain power that you've got surrounding you, you wouldn't be here either. So I said, you're right. So that was it. But after that, they looked at it, made a deal immediately. I think it was about $100 million deal. So we're very happy with that. And I'm very proud of that. That was the one that Nick handled.
I think it's funny that he says it was the one that Nick handled, because that was a shopping center that had been developed by you guys before I was even in the company. And I remember I was in Vegas at ICSC, and I opened up the brochure. It was my buddy Joe Sundberg from Goldman Sachs. And I said, here's a shopping center. He looked at it and he said, yeah, I really like that. So literally, I didn't have to do anything but take a product that had already been developed. And he said, yeah, I like that. Yeah. Now, they then ended up saying no, and we convinced him to come to town. And then Mark Kornfeld, who knew Sunset Hills like the back of his hand, remember we rented the bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And remember it was boiling hot and the air conditioner broke down?
Right.
So they were sweating, these guys from New York, and we took them all over Sunset Hills.
Right.
But our guy, Mark Kornfeld, just sold that market, and they ended up going with that deal. And that was one of our first joint venture deals with an institutional partner. Remember when we negotiated that deal, we had no idea like waterfall structures or anything. But I remember when Dad said that too. And that was like where you could hear a mic drop. It was just the perfect line. He was sitting in the meeting, so even like he is in that video with his hands crossed, like back. He loved the meeting because he loved having Goldman Sachs in our office.
And then you brought him in.
He loved it. And it was all of us there, and he was quiet, and he was watching, and then they got up. It was like, no, and it was so smooth and so confident, and it was just the perfect icing on the cake after that meeting.